It would appear that for me to find the answers I seek, I will have to pay another visit to the scene of the crime, defendant lobby number 2. I wanted to look at the other table and see what was on the defense okay. Who's this? That's Detective Bad, but who is he with? I've never seen that officer before.
So, did you find it?
No, not yet, and I've looked everywhere.
I see. Well then, please continue with the search.
Understood. I'll continue the search. Oh, this is...
Hey, so you're the one running this show. Prosecutors like you shouldn't even be allowed at crime scenes.
How dare you? Just who do you think you are?
I figured out who it was eventually.
What was that all about? And who was that man just now? Whoever he was, I've never seen a more impudent officer in my life. I hope we never meet him ever again. Does he even know that we're standing right here behind him? Maybe he'll say something embarrassing. Let's stand here for a moment. See if he talks to himself in that mirror.
I know you're standing right behind me. What do you want, kids?
Oh yeah, he's holding a mirror so he could probably see behind him with the mirror. Looks like you're not paying attention after all.
Of course I was. I have eyes in the back of my head and a mirror in front of my face.
Ah, so that mirror isn't for vanity's sake. It's for him to keep an eye out on who or what is behind him at all times. So tell me, Detective Bad, who was that rude man just now?
The guy came here from the Republic of Zhangfa to study. He's Agent Lang. He's trying everything he can to revive the lost honor of his family. He's traveling the world to study different philosophies of detainment from scratch.
By visiting various police departments around the world, he has a lot of dedication.
He's still just a rookie cop, but I sense a strong grudge of some sort from him. The guy's more useful than Gumshoe, even if he is rude.
Well, he sure has a lot of guts to come to this country and give prosecutors a hard time. I agree. However, I can think of one young lady that statement also applies to. Anyway, what was that agent looking for, Detective Bad? Earlier, that little girl was poking around in lobby number 1 as well.
Like I said before, it's got nothing to do with the two of you.
I highly doubt that it has nothing to do with me. Fine, if this is the game I must play, then I will take this opportunity to draw out what he's been hiding and what's happened in this room straight from him. Alright, we're talking again. Earlier you were in lobby number 1, and now you're here in lobby number 2. You are quite the busy man, Detective Bad.
Multiple returns to a crime scene brings about success. That's what we detectives say.
I see. In that case, you wouldn't mind if I asked you about what happened again, correct?
I don't have anything left to say to you, boy.
Boy, you'll see. I will draw my answer from you one way or another. Would it kill you to help us even a tiny bit in our investigation?
I gave Faraday's notebook to the judge earlier. That's help enough, don't you think?
Please, we're asking you for just a bit more of your cooperation.
Don't push me, kid.
I'd like to ask once again about what happened around here at the time of the crime.
I refuse to answer. Any more investigating you do would be a waste of time. Besides, how am I supposed to answer questions about things I don't know about?
Things you don't know about? But aren't you supposed to know everything? He should. Wait, is it possible? Maybe he doesn't know about the trick behind that piece of evidence. I should try showing it to him. It may prove to be the key to getting some answers from Detective Bad. Very well, let's show... Are we gonna show the key? Detective Bad, did you know of the existence of the item in this photograph?
Of course I did. It's my job to know everything related to the Yatagarasu case.
In that case, let me ask you something. Did you know that the knife that killed Mr. Faraday and this Yatagarasu's key are one and the same?
What? That's impossible.
It looks like he didn't know that at all. This piece of evidence, which we call the Yatagarasu's key, is actually a well-camouflaged knife. Mr. Faraday was planning to use this Yatagarasu's key to prove that Mr. Rell was not the real Yatagarasu. Isn't that correct?
I guess so.
However, Mr. Faraday had no idea that it was, in fact, a knife.
Yeah, I have to admit, neither one of us knew that fact. And if neither of us knew, then no one in law enforcement knew either. How did we miss something as big as this?
I noticed that since a little while ago, you appear to be searching for something. I presume that this key is what you were searching for.
Yeah, that's right.
And why were you searching for it?
Because I promised Faraday. I promised that I'd protect that key with my life. But after he was killed, the key disappeared from Faraday's evidence bag. I would have thought that the key is what took Faraday's life.
Detective Bad, so that we may find the truth, please testify for me once more.
All right. But it doesn't matter how many times I tell you about what happened. Nothing will change.
Well, we're not trying to bring him back to life. We just want to know about it. Detective Bad, I ask that you please testify once more about what happened in lobby number 2 and what you experienced in lobby number 1.
My answer is still the same. And this is the last time I'm gonna do this.
That's fine, because I only need this one last time to clear everything up and find the truth behind this case. Testimony! All right.
I was in lobby number 1, talking with you. We were talking about some trivial things.
Like what?
I heard the gunshot right before the trial was about to reconvene. When we heard it, you and I immediately dashed out into the hallway together. I saw Gumshoe goofing around there, and then we all ran into lobby number 2.
It sounds like the exact same story he told us before. Indeed. However, I feel that we have yet to draw out all the information that we can. It's time to press a couple of these statements. Maybe all of these statements, and we press them always.
I was in lobby number 1, talking with you.
Talking with me? Oh no, you. Okay, sorry, that's very confusing. There's a skit in here somewhere, I'm sure of it. Why did Miss You choose lobby number 1? Answer me!
Who knows? She just said that she had something she wanted to talk to me about. And we walked into lobby number 1 together. That's all.
So his answer remains the same as before, I see.
We were talking about some trivial things.
Yes, like the weather? Baseball scores?
Hold it!
I was hoping you could expand on what exactly you were discussing with Miss Yu.
Trivial stuff. It was nothing important. You know, whatever.
That's for me to decide. Are we just gonna dart at each other all night? Alright, I suppose that's for him to decide. Moving on then. Fine. Tight-lipped. What a jerk.
I heard the gunshot right before the trial was about to reconvene.
Hold it!
Until you heard the gunshot, did you notice anything else that was out of the ordinary?
I didn't hear any other strange sounds until that gunshot.
If the gunshot Detective Bad heard was really the one from the murder, that would give that other piece of evidence an entirely different meaning. I ask that you please amend your testimony with that statement just now.
Sure. I didn't hear any other strange sounds until that gunshot.
Hold it!
Okay, but the balloon though? Detective Bad, you obviously don't remember hearing anything else.
Yeah.
Is it possible you were so involved in your conversation that you missed something?
I've been a detective for a long time, and even if I were involved in something, I've got quite the habit of keeping tabs on everything that goes on around me. If there had been some other strange sound, you can be sure I would have heard it.
I suppose with this detective, that's probably very likely.
So the gunshot. When we heard it, you and I immediately dashed out into the hallway together.
Hold it!
And why did the two of you dash out into the hallway straight away?
Because we clearly heard the sound of a gunshot, and we knew it came from somewhere nearby.
And how did you know that it was a gunshot?
In my line of work, you hear enough of them to know.
I suppose it's only natural for a detective to know what a real gunshot sounds like. Fine. I've been shot enough times. Pew, pew.
But given the circumstances, the only person I could think of whose life would have been in danger was Faraday. That's why I ran out into the hallway right away and headed for where he was. I saw Gumshoe goofing around there, and then we all ran into lobby number 2.
I want to press this one, even though I know which testimony we need to point at. Detective Gumshoe was there in the hallway.
Yeah.
Why didn't you attest to that earlier?
When I saw Gumshoe, it was after I'd heard the gunshot. Having seen him then didn't change the fact that he still could have done the deed.
How would he have got out there that fast? Like, shoot the gun, rearrange the crime scene, and then get back out there? It sounds exactly like what Detective Bad told us before. However, is there something in particular we should be asking the detective about? There just might be. No one knew that the knife was actually the Adegrasso's key. Reflecting on that, perhaps there are other things that we know now, but Detective Bad doesn't yet. Yes, that should be my angle of attack. Alright, so the new statement was, I didn't hear any other strange sounds. And there was a pretty strange sound in the form of a balloon popping. I just know I've seen a pink balloon around. Okay, but do we have... Do we just show the balloon? Let's show the balloon. Let's see what happens.
Objection!
Detective Bad, does this balloon fragment remind you of anything?
It's the same color as the one Kay was holding.
Also, you knew about that girl's balloon.
Yeah, I was sitting with her up in the gallery. During the recess, just before we split up, I filled that balloon up for her.
Do you breathe helium?
Here you go.
Well, as you may have already surmised, this piece did indeed come from Kay's balloon. He would have a really high squeaky voice if he...
Yeah, good. So what about the balloon?
So what about the balloon?
I wonder if you might remember hearing this balloon pop at some point.
What are you getting at?
This fragment was found in the hallway, right in front of lobby number 2. Furthermore, it was the sound of this balloon popping that the judge mistook as a gunshot.
Oh? So the sound that the judge heard was not actually a gunshot, huh?
On top of that, His Honor says that he had the balloon pop about 20 minutes before the trial was to reconvene. Yes, which means that His Honor heard the balloon pop in the hallway. When you were in lobby number 1, Detective Bad. And if you were in lobby number 1 at that time, you were close enough that you should have heard the balloon popping as well.
So?
Don't give me a so. You can't just so me. We just proved that there is a flaw in your testimony.
The crackling of the truth is louder than the sound of your sweet naivete cracking. And since you kids don't seem to know, let me fill you in on something. Did you ever stop to think why the doors and walls of this place seem so rugged? It's because I rubbed my face on them. All night, every night. Now they're rugged. Yeah, that's because they were designed to keep secrets from being leaked.
What is that supposed to mean?
The doors and walls are super thick. The window panes are double layered. To top it all off, even the curtains are made of a special sound-absorbing material.
But the window was open. Then you mean...
Since I was shut up inside lobby number 1, there was no way I could have heard that sound.
No. I knew that's what he was going to say. Does that mean that the Raff's testimony is completely useless? His rooms are soundproof, so of course he wouldn't hear any sign of a struggle. No.
That's also why it's only natural that I didn't hear the balloon popping. Now do you get it, kids?
Miles, I thought we were supposed to be the ones finding flaws in his logic. Not the other way around.
The other way around? It's not possible to hear the sound of a balloon popping if one were in lobby number 1. However, if we examine the situation in reverse, a person standing in the hallway should not be able to hear the real gunshot either. And yet Detective Gumshoe claims to have heard it while he was standing in the hallway. Detective Bad, if that is the case, how exactly did you hear the gunshot? What do you mean, how? I just did. It would appear that you have yet to realize the contradiction in your own words. Oh? How so? If the rooms are as soundproof as you say they are, then how did the sound of the gunshot enter your ears? I see what you mean. I guess I'm more out of it from Faraday's murder than I thought.
Which means, well, what exactly, Miles? In the end, what does it all boil down to?
It boils down to this. There must be a reason as to how Detectives Bad and Gumshoe heard a gunshot they theoretically couldn't have.
Looks like we need to examine the status of the crime scene again, ha!
The state of the crime scene? Wait, can it be? It's that ultra-strong perfume you wears. She spilled some of it. Ah-ha-ha!
Way too noisy. Jeez. That's really loud, the television. The surveillance video? How could the piece of evidence just disappear? Where did it go? Someone put it in the TV, maybe? Oh! Oh. So, dissipating the smell, you smelled the flowers because both windows were open, and that let the sound get through. The gunshot they heard was a recording of the gunshot from the original murder, so they had lots of time to make the crime scene look like whatever they wanted. It's simply not possible for the killer to have escaped through barred windows, and yet the fragrance of the perfume managed to escape from defendant lobby number 1. Of course, incorporeal things can move freely through these open barred windows. So we're going to combine the very loud television that was set to a really high volume with the missing evidence that is the surveillance tape that actually had a crystal clear gunshot recorded on it. Not exactly a shining example of the perfect line of logic. What? No. Okay, it's just too soon. It's too soon. So, incorporeal things, we need the very loud television and the open windows. Alright, we gotta connect them in the right order. Now then, what else besides the smell can go both in and out of an open barred window? The answer is sound. So no matter how careful the killer was, if the windows were open, the jig would be up. And since the windows in both defendant lobby number 1 and the hallway were open, that explains how the sound of a gunshot could be heard in both locations. So now we can combine these two things, because the gunshot that was heard was on the television. Okay, I jumped the gun, so to speak. The missing piece of evidence is a video. That shows the moment in which Mr. Rell killed the embassy staff member. The sound of the gunshot left quite an impression on me when it was played during the trial. The video should have been returned to Mr. Faraday's evidence bag for the recess, and brought back here. If it disappeared after that time, then it is possible that the tape is still here in this room. Eureka! The evidence that the missing evidence created for me is the gunshot sound that no one should have been able to hear in the first place. Miles, what have you been thinking about? You've been sitting there pressing your forehead for like 50 minutes now. And at one point you gave yourself a penalty, and I'm not sure what that was about. Stop wasting time thinking and let's start looking again. It's not a waste of time to think, for I have figured out where we should look. And where would that be? I believe we should examine the television.
The TV? Well, you kids have fun watching TV. Go ahead and examine whatever you like. Cartoons are on channel 12. I'll see you kids later.
Begin investigation. I will rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Is there a VHS? It's a video player, and there seems to be a videotape inside. Looks like the tape must have stopped on its own when it reached the end. This tape, could it not be the missing surveillance tape? I noticed me, Wolpie. I have noticed you. I suppose, but... Detective Bad, would it be alright with you if I verified the contents of this video?
Sure. Knock yourself out. It's probably cartoons, which I hate.
Alright, so let's rerun this and see what we have here. It's time to please be kind.
If I remember correctly, the footage of Rel killing the embassy staff member should be at about the 30-minute mark from the start of the tape.
Understood. This should be about right. Now then, let's see. This is the footage of Mr. Rel shooting the embassy staff member. I knew it. The missing piece of evidence was the surveillance video. We're here all along.
Well, SpongeBob's antics are pretty great, so let's watch it together. This sound, what's the meaning of this?
It appears Detective Bad has figured out the true source of the gunshot he heard. With this, I think we can figure out the trick behind this double murder. Do you mean that you figured it all out then? Yes. All I have to do now is show what the gunshot Detectives Bad and Gumshoe heard was, and through where they heard it from. Fine! In that case, show me what you've deduced! Now to show that the gunshot Detective Bad heard and Gumshoe heard was, and through where they heard it from. So, okay. We're going to... Excuse me. What do I have? Did I get the tape? Yeah, I have the tape. So deduce the TV. And the video, right? This piece of evidence will clear away the last remaining contradictions. What? Miles, I believe that piece may actually be proof of a different last of sorts. It proves that today will be your last day as a prosecutor. It appears that I've made a mistake. However, I know the last riddle in the test lies somewhere within this room. I need to calm down and think it through once more. Okay, alright. How to get this right? Is it because I did the TV and not the recorder? That spot is definitely... I'm gonna try it again. And just assume the game's being a little too picky. No! Oh, no. Yikes. Okay, alright. Maybe the open window in the tape. Otherwise, I'm just gonna lose all my points right here. Okay, we got a eureka. If the door and windows to the crime scene, namely this room that we're in, were closed, the killer could have used the gun and no one would have been the wiser. That's true. The courthouse does seem to be well designed for such a thing, as it were. However, what happened in reality was Detective Gumshoe, Detective Bad, and Miss Yu, all three of them heard the gunshot. There's the windows in lobby number 1, number 2, and the hallway were open. So naturally, the people in those locations could hear it. But then why would the criminal open the window in the first place? To allow the gunshot to be heard, I suppose? Correct. That's the only logical conclusion we can draw from this. But why was that necessary in the first place? I want a real answer, Miles. I demand satisfaction. Very well, I believe that the killer wanted to manipulate our perception of a certain fact. What was it the killer wanted to manipulate our perception of when the crime scene took place? Because they could actually leave, stick the tape in, start playing it, and then they have a half hour to get away from the crime scene before anyone actually realizes there is one. The killer wanted to fabricate the time of death to their precise wishes. And they used the gunshot in the surveillance video to do so. Yes, I am definitely going to play the second Miles game. I might not do it immediately after this one, but I'm definitely going to play it. So that's why the tape was left running.
You mean the gunshot I heard was from this video?
Yes, which means that the murders really occurred at an earlier time than we thought. It must have been during the recess, but before Detective Gumshoe was on guard duty. Someone who has no alibi for that time period and planned this crime out in advance. That person is the real killer. Oh, thank goodness! Yum, 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 yum. Delicious, delicious truth coming back into my mouth. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, what is it? Miss Yu is asking for you. She's in the courtroom. She said that she's identified the murderer, but that she wants to clarify something. Looks like Miss Yu is still investigating something. Understood. Please tell her that I will be right over.
I'll come along. I want to hear what she has to say.
It would appear that the time has come to uncover the truth. To be continued. Find out next time when we find out what's the matter, you. What's going on? What you doing? What are you investigating? Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't. See you next time. Bye for now.